Hey, I'm Taylor Noelle, and you're watching The Music Enthusiast.
Hi, what's up? I'm Sarah from Music Enthusiast, and today I'm here with Taylor Noelle. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for chatting with me. It's so fun meeting you. I love the EP.
Oh, thank you.
No
So,
problem. So how does it feel for it to finally be out into the world?
I am just so thrilled, and it's been such a long time coming and such a long process that it's something that I've wanted to happen for so long that it doesn't even sometimes feel real. Like, oh, I don't have to listen to these songs on Dropbox anymore. Like they're on Spotify. They're there.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, being a debut project, it's sort of has to represent you and as an artist and as a person. So how do you feel that makes it?
I feel like it's like my first, truly committed to pop endeavor. Like I've done other kind of singer-songwriter stuff before, but this really feels like a true representation of what I want to write about, what I want it to sound like. And it it feels like a representation of myself that feels as true as I've ever gotten, which is really satisfying.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, well, we're gonna talk about more of the EP after, but do you have a fondest musical memory?
Hmm. Um, Fondest musical memory. I mean, I really feel like there's just so many. I feel like so many of them are either creating music or performing live. I just got to have my first full band show back after lockdown and everything last month. It was on a rooftop overlooking Nashville, and it was like just such a good night, and everybody was so happy to be there, and beautiful weather, and it just was more magical than I can really express. Like it was just so great to be back and be doing it again, and in such a gorgeous spot. So that would probably be the most recent one. Yeah.
And did you get to play the new songs too? What was that like?
Yeah, it was really special. I mean, there are definitely songs that they've kind of been releasing over time. So I got to play the one that was about to be around, that was about to come out. So it was really exciting to get to play that, knowing people are going to be able to actually listen to this soon. Because for so long I was just playing them and couldn't really direct people anywhere to go actually listen to it afterwards. So that was definitely fun to get to be like, and you can actually listen to this soon.
Yeah. What was your first concert you've ever attended?
It was, I think, when I was like 5 or 6. The Beach Boys actually played at the LA County Fair. And so we all, my family went to the fair that day and rode all the rides and did all the stuff you do there. And at the end of the day, at the end of the evening, the Beach Boys were playing, and it was there's little flashes of memory of remembering it, and mostly that they were on a stage super, super far away. But I definitely recognize the gravity of oh, these are the Beach Boys, basically cartoon characters in my brain.
Oh my god, yeah, totally. I went to a summer festival when I was younger, and I saw Kesha and LMFAO from
Mhm.
really far, but totally get that.
Yeah.
And I mean, back to the EP, what was creating the whole thing like?
It was definitely a long process. Some of them were songs like What Can I Do, which is the first song on the project. I wrote very slowly over the course of a few years. I originally came up with the chords on a ukulele,
Oh wow.
and had sort of come up with melodies, but didn't really know what I liked. And it also was so different from anything else I was writing at the time that I almost didn't know what to do with it. And finally wrote all the lyrics, but still was kind of I'm not sure where this is supposed to go production wise. And then songs like End of the Night, which I also wrote on my own, and Rely, I was able to produce out with some friends of mine in Nashville who helped to kind of like demo it out and like explore different sounds and bring it into more of like a pop R&B space, which then kind of helped inform how I wanted to get What Can I Do to the finish line. And then as those were coming along, I was also writing Prove with my friend Andrew Tufano, West End with Reed Barron and Ricky Randall, and Be Around with Bobby Nepper. And so it was just kind of like, what I really like about how the songs all came together is I was really conscious about trying to find things that connected each of the songs to each other. And I almost didn't want any song to get like too fully finished without another one kind of following behind it. Even if they were released pretty spread out, like they really were made all as a unit and created to kind of go together. So it was definitely something in my mind, like how do they connect? What is the thread between them? And that's definitely what helped me like get to the finish line with bringing the songs to where they needed to go.
Yeah, because they're not just singles, it's an album. It has to like go together. I love that.
Thanks. Yeah.
And which songs were the easiest and the hardest to create?
Prove is like a pretty complicated song. And it's funny because the guy I wrote it with, Andrew, he is so freakishly musically talented. Like, and it's you would listen to it and it's such a complicated song that you would assume it was kind of written the way it sounds, but we just wrote it on acoustic guitar and piano. Oh, wow. And that's totally by virtue of how talented he is. He actually like was literally like going viral on TikTok last year because he can do these crazy like vocal runs. And so I can't even explain like the depth of his talent. So that was definitely one that like, it always took a lot of brain power on like behalf of like the band and the producer and everybody to like make sure we were capturing everything and like accurately like getting everything across. And it's not like a very like repetitive song either. Like there's a lot of things that change over the course of the song. So that one's like complex, but it's still really fun. Like it at no point was it like, oh, this sucks, this is hard. It was just like, oh yeah, this is like tough, but like a tough Sudoku. Like it's fun. Like it's a puzzle. Yeah. Easiest, I would maybe have to say Rely. I feel like Rely always had a very strong, like I always had a strong sense of what I knew I wanted it to sound like. And so it was just like getting from point A to point B, like getting it finished. There was no real like surprises or anything that was like more complicated than I really expected it to be. And that also, I owe a lot of that to the guy who produced What Can I Do, Rely, Improve. His name is Steve Wilson. He produced it under the name Ghost Hood. And he has this like fabulous home studio where I was able to bring in my band that I play with live and they played all their parts. So cool. It was cool because like it's sort of a mix of those ones were like full band, which is pretty rare in pop. And then I sort of had the other ones that were kind of more like bedroom pop leaning. So it kind of let me pretend I was in Fleetwood Mac for a little bit, like have the whole band and everything, minus the cocaine.
Of course. And you mentioned before how you wanted this project to like complete each other in a sense. So how many tracks were like sort of left out of this album?
I can think of like 2 or 3 songs that I definitely like really thought about.
Okay.
But they also were the ones that felt like they were in a slightly different sonic place or thematically didn't really like fit, because I really feel like if you like go narratively through the songs, like there's kind of a story being told. And so it was hard to convince myself to put in a song that didn't quite fit the narrative. I'm like, I don't want to throw off the flow. So there are definitely songs that like I want to revisit and, you know, maybe even see if there's like some new rebirth of them now, you know, 3 years after I wrote them. um, but I really do feel like even thinking about those songs, I think I knew that these were like the ones. I was definitely writing a lot more songs than this, but I do feel like something I've kind of figured out is like in Nashville, there's such a culture of like everybody has to write with everybody, and kind of how you network is with writing with a bunch of people. And I've definitely enjoyed the aspect of meeting new people, and I've definitely met some amazing people that are like some of my favorite people to write with through that. But I also think I was pushing myself to write with more people than I even needed to, and I've learned recently to kind of just get in a more regular schedule with the people that I'm like super stoked about, rather than like have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of songs, you know, not that I don't like, but I feel like aren't quite for me, or like it's so hard to start from zero and then immediately just end up with a song that you're like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted. So I walk away with like, okay, well, this is like a really cool song, but I don't think I hit the mark for what I wanted, which, you know, you don't want, I don't want to walk away with like that. I don't want people I write with to walk away with like me just showing up and writing a song with them that nothing is ever going to happen with. So I really like that it kind of realigned how I approach setting up rights.
I totally love that. And you're also a creative director. So, I mean, being that, what sort of touch did you put on this project?
I think I always just wanted to have like a very strong visual identity, and song to song, like let them have their own kind of image, but also, same as I was saying before, have there be like a strong thread between everything. And I've definitely learned a lot about that from the visual artists I've worked with. So Joey Broadnax, who has directed a few videos for me, Drew Baumel, who has been DP on some of those videos and worked with me on the Be Around video, photographers like Luke Rogers and Jessica Demento, as well as Joey again. I just feel like I've been really lucky to work with people who, in the same way as like someone I write with has to like understand what I'm going for. Like the visual people have really helped me to get where I'm going, and also have helped me to like start to be a little more independent. And like I'm going after, you know, doing some more film photography now, and I have like a little camcorder that I love to shoot stuff on. I'm working on a video for a friend of mine next week, and that'll be like my first thing that I'm doing myself, like for someone else. And it's cool to use the tools that I've honed in for myself and start to use them for other people. And, you know, get to explore like new visual aesthetic worlds that aren't just centered around me.
I love that. And you are so talented. And not only are you an artist, creative director, you're also an incredible songwriter. So while making this project, was there like a specific lyric where you were like, oh my God, like I just wrote that. That's crazy.
Let's, I kind of feel like Prove was like that. I feel like it's a very like, there's a lot of imagery, and it doesn't really actually like say anything too like concrete, which I really like, because I feel like I normally write very conversationally, which I really like, but it's nice to explore other stuff. So like the chorus of Prove, it's like, with you I want to breathe underwater, baby don't come up for air, it's so euphoric dancing in orbit, you're the one who takes me there. It's like, what does that even mean? Where it's not like anything like we're dancing in the club and I love you. Like it's not like too concrete, but in a way I feel like that almost lets, I know what that means to me. And I hope that it's something that is like just capturing the energy that somebody else in a totally different situation could be like, that's what I'm feeling. So that's definitely something I'm really proud of. that I did with Andrew.
Yeah, that's incredible. And since shows are coming back, I mean, very soon, do you have any plans to like maybe get this on tour or play some shows?
I would love to get on tour. Right now, I'm sort of tentatively planning something for Nashville by the end of the year. And definitely would love to get out of town. I think we'll see. I'm sort of up in the air with like when the next release will be too. So I don't know. I'm just gonna go where the wind takes me.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. And last question, who are your favorite artists right now?
I mean, I have so many that are like my peak of the mountaintop. Like probably those ones for me are Fleetwood Mac, like I said,
Mhm.
Childish Gambino,
Yeah.
Haim, and Tame Impala. Right now, though, if you were to look at my um, on repeat on Spotify playlist, it would definitely be Remy Wolf.
Oh
I
my God, I love her.
cannot stop listening to her. I've actually had her remix album on repeat, like the remix of her album. And it's so wild, like how many insane artists are on that. And I think that's just a testament to how respected she is and what a creative and unique and once in a lifetime kind of artist that she is, that so many people are like, I want to contribute to this. So she's probably who I'm really most excited about right now. I swear I wake up every morning with some lyric of hers like on a loop.
Oh my God, same here. It's
There's one lyric that I like, it's like an intrusive thought at this point. She's like, got botched like a doublet surgery. I'm like, oh my God.
I love that one. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me again. It was so
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you too.